Hello students, welcome to the E-class. Today we are going to do the second part of chapter number 15, Economic Development. Before we start, let's revise what we have done in the first part of chapter number 15, Economic Development. In the first part, we have seen the definition of economic development, that what is called economic development. We have seen what is per capita income, what is a national income of India. We have also seen the difference between economic progress and economic development. Today, in the second part, we are going to deal with the features of developing economy. Economy of developed and developing countries is separated on the basis of per capita income as per World Development Report of 2004 of World Bank. Countries who are having income less than $735 are categorized as developing economy. Now here everyone knows that when we talk about, you can say, the today's world, the countries has been divided into two, developing countries and developed countries. Now question arises, on what basis we are deciding that this is a developed country and this is a developing country. So according to the World Development Report of 2004, it has been decided that those countries whose income is less than $735, that countries will be known as the developing countries, and those countries whose income is more than $735 will be known as the developed countries. Now we are having overall 9 features of developing countries. On the basis of these 9 features, we can decide that this particular countries will be known as a developing economy. Let's start. Number 1, less per capita income. We have already seen in the earlier part that what is per capita income. The total income of a nation is divided by total population of a country. Whatever is coming, that will be known as a less per capita income. Now, the national income of a developing country is less, while its population is very high. So if we talk about developing countries, then their population is very high, and because of that population, their income will be very less. As a result, its per capita income remains very low. So population is very high, and because of that, the per capita income is always remaining very low. As low per capita income, and because of that, even the living standard of its peoples remains low. Now per capita income is low, so because of that, living standard of that particular people always remains low. As per the World Development Report of 2004, it has been already divided that whoever's country's income is less than 735 rupees, that will be known as a developing countries. Now on your screen you can see the name of the country, their national GDP in US dollars, and their approximate population. Now here you can say, when we talk about GDP, the highest GDP is of USA, that is 21.4 trillion, and their approximate population is 33 crore. Second is China. Naturally we are able to see the difference of GDP, you can say, of US and China. China is having 14.14 trillion, while the population is 143 crores. Japan is having 5.15 trillion GDP, while the population is 12 crore. Number 4 is Germany, and Germany's, you can say, 3.86 trillion, while population is 8 crore. Number 5 is India, 2.94 trillion, and 136 crore is a population. Number 6 is UK, 2.83 trillion and population is 7 crore. Number 7 is France, 2.71 trillion and population is 7 crore. Number 8 is Italy, 1.99 trillion is GDP, but the population is only 6 crore. Number 9 is Brazil, 1.85 trillion is GDP and 20 crore is the population. Number 10 is Canada, 1.73 trillion and population is 4 crore. Now you can see that China is on 2nd, India is on 5th and even Brazil is on 9th. But here when you see the population, look at the population of this country. Though they are having this much GDP, this all the income is going to divide by the total population. And this particular, you can say the countries which I have shown in a red color, these 3 countries population is more. So once you divide the total income of a country with the total population of a country, the per capita income is very, very low. And once the per capita income is very, very low, the living standard of the people will also remain low. Number 2, population growth. If we talk about India, the rate of population growth is usually very, very high in a developing country. So if we talk about, you can say this population growth, just now we have already talked about China, India and Brazil. These particular countries are going to be known as a developing countries. The another reason why they are developing countries, the reason is that their population. We have seen on second number the China is that. Though the GDP is very, very high, but look at the population. India, everyone knows that China stands first when we talk about population. And because of this population, they are going to consider as a, you can say, the developing countries. If we talk about India, India's, you can say, the population growth is 2% or more. It can be said that 2%, that is Australia's population. So if we talk about India, particular time will be done and we are going to create the population of Australia. Number 3, dependence on agriculture. Means in developing countries, you can see that people are depending on agriculture. Main occupation of the people of developing countries agriculture. Now question arises that why these people are depending on agriculture. The reason for depending on agriculture is that in developing countries, we are not having more development of industries. We are having less development of, you can say, the service sector, like we have different kind of the jobs. And as there is a less development of this industries and service sector, because of that people are depending on agriculture as they do not have any other alternative. More than 60% of its population depends on agriculture for employment. Look at that. When we talk about 100%, out of 100%, 60% is depending on agriculture. But the contribution of agriculture to the total national income of the country is about 26% only. So 60% of the population is depending on agriculture. When we talk about the contribution of agriculture, what income we are getting from agriculture, that is only 26%. Even it's not the double, 60 and we will divide, then it is 30. Even we are not getting, you can say, the half income from that particular agriculture. So more people are engaged with the agriculture and less income has been contributed. And this is one of the, you can say, the reason of developing countries. Number 4 is unequal distribution of income. the distribution of income and factors of production is very unequal in developing countries. So if we talk about, you can say, the developing country, then the distribution of income, whatever income will be there, that is the, you can say, the distributed, but it's not equal. Even whatever factors of production we are having, that is also, you can say, the unequal. For example, 20% of a rich people of the country share 40% of the total national income. So if we talk about, you can say, 20%, these are the richest people, and these people are having 40% of a total national income of India. So if we talk about, you can say, Ambani's, we talk about Mittal, okay, then these people are having, you can say, 40% of the total national income. On the other hand, the backward 20% poorest people of country, they share only 10% of a national income. So when we talk about other 20%, those who are the poorest people in India, they are only getting 10%. That is again the half of their number. So here those who are richest, they are getting double, while those who are the poorest, they are getting half. This is showing, you can say, the unequal distribution of income. And for living standard, we are in need of money. Number 5, unemployment. The problem of unemployment is an important feature of a developing country. So if we are counting the features, then unemployment is also the biggest problem in developing countries. The ratio of unemployment is more than 3% of the total labor. So if we talk about percentage wise, then it is a 3% of the total labor. Different types of unemployments are seen in this country, such as seasonal unemployment. So here we are able to see the different types of unemployment. Number 1 is seasonal unemployment. Seasonal unemployment means we will see unemployment season wise. For example, farmers. There are particular villages who are not having, you can say, the canal facility. They do not have a multi-purpose project, and because of that, they are not getting water maybe in a summer season. So in a monsoon season, when there is a rain, they can take crops in their farms and they are employed. But again, when the summer season will be there, as they do not have, you can say, irrigation facility, because of lacking of water, though they have a farm, though they are skilled, but still they are not able to take a crop, and because of that they will become unemployed. That farmers will become unemployed in the season of summer. In this particular season they remain unemployed, and that's why it is going to be known as a seasonal unemployment. Number 2 is a disguise unemployment. Disguise unemployment means unemployment is that, but somehow we are not able to see. For example, when we talk about, you can see, the villages, almost in villages, all the family members are working in this, you can say, their own farms. If we just take an example, let's take an example that there is one family. In that family, we are having 5 members, mother, father, and 3 sons. Now all these 5 are working in their own farm. Maybe you can say one of the son is getting a job in the city, and that particular son is migrating to that particular city. The another son for a higher study may be going to the other village or other city. So now overall here we are having 3 members. Now when all these 3 members are doing the work in the farm, whatever production is coming, the same production is coming when that 5 persons are working. Here production is not going to become less. So when 5 people were working, whatever production is coming, when 3 people are working, the same production is there. Though the family members are less, the production is same. It means this will be known as a disguised unemployment. Structural unemployment. Here the structural unemployment means because of any particular condition, we have you can say, the structural unemployment. industrial unemployment. Now here industrial unemployment means a lot many times. For example, we have industries. There is some problem related with the electricity. Maybe there is a problem of old machineries, or maybe you can say that particular industry is having lot of loss. So in that particular situation, they will allow particular, you can say, the laborers not having a work. So they will not get the work for that remaining period, which will be known as a, you can say, the industrial unemployment. We are also having frictional unemployment, and we will also have, you can say, the educated unemployment. Now here you can say, just now lockdown period is going on, and in a lockdown there are so many people not getting a work. They have become unemployed, and this unemployment will be known as a structural unemployment, that because of there is some problem in the structure, this particular people will remain unemployed. And the last one is educated unemployment. This everyone familiar with that in India nowadays there are so many people who are educated, but because of a high population growth, because of less infrastructure facilities, these people are not getting work. Though they are educated, they are not getting work, and this will be known as a educational unemployment. Moreover, the period of unemployment is also very long. So if we talk about the period of this unemployment, it is also very, very long in developing countries. Now here on your screen, you can see the peak. This is a peak of unemployed people. You might have also witnessed that in the morning, this kind of tradesmen with their own tools, they are actually, you can say, they're sitting on the roads, maybe in a corner of the roads, and they are waiting for that contractors. They are waiting for that particular people who will come and just give them a work. A lot many times, all of them are not getting work, and this unemployment is very, very long. Number 6 is poverty. Poverty is also an important feature of developing country. So if we talk about poverty, yes, that is also, you can say, the very, very important feature when we talk about developing economy. Many people in these countries cannot satisfy even the basic necessities of life, such as food, clothing, shelter, education, and health. So if we talk about this kind of a poor people, these poor people are even not able to satisfy their basic necessities called food, cloth, shelter, education, and even the health related. Even you have seen on roads lot many people who are living on footpaths. Even they are not getting so many times, 2 times a meal. Here on your peak also you can see the peak of these beggars who are sitting there for begging, who are asking for the food, maybe outside of a temple, maybe once wherever the marriage is there. So outside of that particular, you can say, the areas, we are able to find it out, this kind of a people who are very, very poor, and they are sitting for the food. Such poor people contribute about 1/3 of the total population in the country. And if we talk about the ratio of these poor people, total, you can say, out of total population, 1/3 of this particular people are the poorest people of the country, who are not even able to get 2 times a meal. Number 7 is dual economy. We know the meaning of dual. Dual means double. The economy of a developing country is based on dual. Dual means on double or a mixed system. On one hand, there are villages with backward farming, old machinery, and orthodox social structure. Here you can see the peak of a village. On the other hand, there are modern cities with modern industries, modern technology, and sophisticated lifestyle. Here you can see the peak of cities. So when we talk about economy of these developing countries are based on a mixed system. When we talk about the villages of these developing countries, they are having old houses. When they do the farming, they will do with the old machinery. And when we talk about the social structure, Even the social structure is also very, very orthodox. Orthodox means backward. These people are not ready to accept the change. And on the other side, we are having cities. These cities are with the modern, you can say, the facilities. They are having, you can say, modern industries in which they are using the latest machinery. Even these people are going for a modern technology. And if we talk about the lifestyle of these cities, they are living in a sophisticated lifestyle. It means their lifestyle is, very, very high. Number 8, insufficient infrastructure facilities. Infrastructure facilities means what is coming in infrastructure facilities? In that we are having education, transportation, communication, electricity, health facility and banking. They are very essential for the economic development of a country. So when we talk about developing countries, you can say the peak of this bank, and here it has been shown of, you can say, the health center. Health center means you can say the clinics. Now here when we talk about developing countries, in developing countries we are having insufficient, means not sufficient. We are having insufficient facilities like education, then transportation. If the schools and colleges are there, then the students are going to study, and then we can think forward than the farming. But when we talk about, you can say, the villages, we are not having, in all the villages we are not having schools, in all the villages we are not having colleges. And when we talk about the transportation, even you can say the roads, everywhere the roads are not there, even in particular villages of India. In today also they are having kacha roads, means the roads which has been made of that particular soil, mitti roads. So lot many times when there is a, you can say, rainy season will be there, and in the rainy season, because of that kacha roads, okay, it will be very, very difficult to go in the village or to come out of the village. Apart from that, communication, if we talk about today's, look at that, e-classes are there. So in e-classes you are in need of internet. So in cities we are using 4G data. Why? Because we are living in city, we are having that particular facility of communication. But still when we talk about villages, okay, they are not having the proper facilities of this, you can say, the internet, or even you can say the telephone. A lot many time they face the problem of that connectivity. Somehow they are not getting the network. If you have a network, then you can use your data. But if you do not have a network, you are not able to use the data. There are so many villages, okay, over there. For reaching or for getting that network, they have to, you can say, go very, very far. In that particular area they are getting network. And what is the reason behind that? If we talk about cities, we are having everywhere almost we are having this particular, you can say, the network towers, and because of that we are getting good facility of this network. But when we talk about these villages are not having sufficient, you can say, this mobile towers, and because of that their network is always, you can say, causing a problem. They are not getting proper network, and as though no network will be there, though you have a phone, you cannot use for even giving a call to others. Apart from electricity, as we are living in city, you can say 24 hours, okay, we are having electricity. As you have electricity, you can go for doing different call. For example, if you have industry and if you have electricity, then production will go on. But just imagine you have industry, but if you do not have electricity, your production cannot go. So if we talk about villages, even in India we are having particular villages where we are not having, you can say, the 24 hours electricity. And because of that, what we can progress, that we are not able to progress, even because of, that insufficient electricity. The normal work, the studying of the student, that will be also hampered. Health facility, when we talk about cities, naturally you can say we have so many hospitals, we have so many health centers, we have so many private clinics. But if we talk about villages, even still in the villages, they will have only one primary health center which will be run by government. They are not having modern hospitals like cities. So whenever they are facing problem, they have to run to cities. And because of that, the development of village is also not possible. And apart from that, the very important and essential, that is a bank facility. Everyone knows that we are living in Surat, and in Surat we are having so many banks. So whenever you are in need of loan, there are the banks who are ready to give you the loan. But when you talk about villages, when we talk about the remote places, they do not have, you can say, the facilities of, you can say, this kind of bank. As they do not have a bank facility, they are not getting loan, and because of that they cannot go for development. So on a one side, when we talk about cities, they are making, you can say, extraordinary development. And on another side, when we talk about villages, because of that insufficient infrastructure facilities, they are not able to go for a development. So cities are going for development, villages are not going for development, and because of that, that is going to affect the economy of India. But this infrastructure facilities are insufficient in a developing country. So the developing countries are having insufficient facility, and that is going to hamper the development of economy. The last feature, form of international trade. The form of international trade in a developing country is backward. The export of these countries include farm products and mineral ores which earn them less income. On the other hand, their import includes industrial products and machinery which cost them too much. So when we talk about international trade of this particular developing country is very backward. When we talk about export means selling particular products to the foreign countries, and import means we are purchasing the things from the foreign countries. So these developing countries, when they export, they will export the farm products and they will export the mineral ores. In exchange of that, we are getting very less income. And when we talk about, you can say, the import from the other countries, these developing countries are importing industrial products, and industrial products are always very costly. And even they are, you can see, the purchasing machineries from the foreign countries. So when we do the export, we are getting less income, and when these developing countries are doing import, they have to pay very high. So because of this particular thing, this developing countries economy is always stay backward. As we are talking about, you can say, the export. In export, we are getting less income. In import, we have to pay more, and because of that, there is increase in the foreign debt. And this will be, you can say, a very, you can say, problematic for the developing countries. And because of that, they are getting, you can say, a lot of hindrance when we talk about economic development. So here our part 2 we are going to over. Next we will start in the third part the other important features of developing countries. Till then, bye.